Hey, Richie, Bullets Broadheads. I'm going to talk about hunting arrows or practice arrows or both. How do I do it? This is the way I do it. This is the way I was taught. And it's worked for me. I mean, some people may do it a little different, and that's fine too. But this is how I do it. Now, I use carbon arrows, and I think they're the best. The Carbon Express Maxima Hunters, great arrows. Well, they're expensive and not cheap. For about six, you're talking $80. So now, when you buy hunting arrows, you have to 99% of the time you have to buy either half a dozen or a dozen. So then you got to pick what grain you're going to be using. Now here's a little. This is your field points. This is what you practice with. This is a fixed blade. This is what I hunt with. This is the G5 Striker, my favorites. And these are mechanical blades. These are the Grim Reapers. These are devastating. But if you ask me which one I prefer the fixed blade. Less can go wrong in the field. Simple as that. But if it's a real windy day, I'll use these. If they're going to fly a little bit truer than something like this, maybe be caught in the wind. Now remember, you're going to pick a grain. These are all 100 grain. So how do I decide what arrows am I going to be hunting with and what arrows I'm going to practice with, or does it really matter? I don't know if it really matters, but this is how I do it. Say I buy 6 arrows. I put all field points in, and then I shoot my bow and I tune it with the field points to make sure they're all hitting dead nut center. Remember how I did a video on sights, you chase your arrow, wherever the arrow's hitting, you move it. So once it's all tuned into these, then I'm going to pick 3 out of the 6 to hunt with. So I check the fletching, make sure everything's good. Remember, I use lighted nocks. I use the nocturnals here. So then I put them on. And then especially with fixed blades, make sure that everything's lined up perfect. And by that, what I mean is you're going to put it on the table and give it a spin. And there should be no wobble whatsoever. If there's any type of wobble, change it out. Maybe you have to put this on another arrow or something, because sometimes these have to be lined up perfect sometimes. Not all the time. Most times everything's fine, and to make sure there's no wobble. And then how I shoot these, now these have a fixed blade on them. I set up my 3D target, my deer, and I shoot one at a time. The reason why I do that is I shoot, and then I go see where it's hitting, and I pull it out. Because these are super sharp, and they can catch the fletching and put a tear in it if you're shooting in groups, or you're shooting a 3D target. My hunting arrows, I use my deer target, not my block target, because I want to know where I'm hitting on that deer. So I shoot one, then I get my other one, then I shoot another, pull it out, because I don't want this damaging the arrow. When you get into bow hunting and you practice, you'll do a couple of Robin Hoods for sure, where the arrow actually hits the other arrow and destroys it. That's going to happen. But I don't want it happening with my hunting arrows. Now some guys, they just interchange, as long as they're hitting the same way, and that's fine if that works for you too. What some guys do, which I don't agree with, is they buy the real good arrows just to hunt with. Then they buy a cheaper arrow to practice with. I'm not crazy about that idea, because not all arrows fly the same, and it can mess you up, chasing those arrows and going back and, resetting into these arrows. Always hunt with the same arrow and practice with the same type of arrows, same brand of arrows. Don't mix and match. I don't agree with that. Some people say it works fine for them. Hey, if it works for you, do it. That's great. But this is how I was taught, and it's been working for me. And I agree with that totally. You select your hunting arrows. You practice one at a time if you can, on a real life-size target, a deer target, 3D target, and make sure they're all hitting in the same area, and flying the same way. Because sometimes these lighted knocks, some of them have extra weight on them. That's why I like the nocturnals. I think they're the best. They're almost, they're not that heavy. The grains are not that heavy in the back, so you don't alter your flight at all, really. But this is how I choose my hunting or practice arrows. Very simple. The way I do it, I think it works. Just pick 3 arrows out of the 6 to hunt with. Put them in your quiver, and that's it. Once you know your bow's tuned in, every now and then, there's a plane overhead. Every now and then, I'll shoot my practice arrows again just to make sure that everything's, still in tune. You're gonna face it, when you're hunting, you don't get to shoot your bow a lot, So that's how I do it. A couple of just quick tips again. What's the difference? You got mechanical, field points are the ones you practice, and fixed. I like fixed the best. I think they're the most reliable for hunting. These are mechanical. By the nature of mechanical, that means they can fail. Has it ever happened to me? No. But one thing about mechanicals, which is a plus, they fly true to like a field point. So what I like about mechanicals, they sometimes give you a practice head that are just like this. They don't open, so you can really practice with your field points, and everything's going to hit the same. Some mechanicals don't give you practice heads too. I think the G5 Montauk has a set of practice arrows that fly the same way. That's a good idea. They should all give you a practice arrow to practice with. Practice head, I should say. So this is why these fly truer with your field points than fixed flies with your field points. Not that much a difference. Maybe if you're shooting at 30 plus yards, you'll notice a difference. But most of my shots in Jersey where I hunt, I'm shooting within 30 yards anyway. But on a windy day, sometimes if it gets real windy out there, I'll switch to these. I keep one of these in my quiver and 2 of these in my quiver. And that's it. Richie, Bullets and Broadheads. Hope this helped you guys with how to distinguish between practice or hunting arrows. I mean, if you do it a different way and it works, that's great. But if you find that you can't get your arrows all to fly the same way, maybe do it this way. It might help you. So Richie, Bullets and Broadheads, quick little vid. Hunting practice arrows. This is the way I do it. It's been working. And try it. If you're new to hunting and trying to figure out what arrows to use for hunting, try it this way. That's it. Take care, guys.